CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Evan Kenny.
Some days you feel strong and good, and other days like today, it's emotional.
Commemoration, not celebration. How people in Jasper are remembering last summer's devastating wildfire. Good evening. Jasperites are reflecting on a devastating wildfire that forced them to leave their homes 1 year ago today. On that day, 3 wildfires burning south of the town merged, growing thousands of hectares within hours and prompting an evacuation alert. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti has more on how people are feeling on the 1-year anniversary of the fire.
1 year ago, wildfire ripped through Jasper National Park, destroying a third of the Jasper town site and surrounding areas. Just 2 days later, people here still grappling with the loss.
It's just been an interesting year. I guess living here post-fire, it's just changed. Everything's changed, and it'll never be the same.
On Tuesday, dozens gathered to mark the anniversary. More than 25,000 people evacuated the national park overnight, not knowing what they'd come home to.
We went straight through it, and there was ash falling on our brand new car, and I was just freaking out.
The events and pain still fresh in people's minds.
I remember that night so clearly, and even the weather can be so triggering when a thunderstorm comes through or when there's smoke in the sky.
Some days you feel strong and good, and other days like today, it's emotional.
Officials praise the determination and efforts of firefighters to battle the wildfire that grew to over 32,000 hectares. The day is not only a reflection of the past year and what was lost, but a chance to remember and honor wildland firefighter Morgan Kitchen, who was killed by a falling tree in firefight.
Morgan's courage and his sacrifice will never be forgotten.
After the destructive wildfire, some Jasperites chose to leave the town and start a new life elsewhere. However, 1 year later, the majority remain. Some say they stayed for community.
I think I really needed to be around community that's gone through this and understands what we've been through. It's not just about the trauma of the physical fire, it's about the loss of community.
It's been my home. My people are my people. I would feel uncomfortable going to a town that I didn't know anyone.
While the town is still recovering with a long road ahead to rebuilding homes and destroyed businesses, Jasperites remain hopeful the future is bright for the small mountain town. In Jasper, Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News.
An evacuation alert for the town of Slave Lake and the MD of Lesser Slave River has been canceled. It comes as cool and wet weather helps crews fighting the nearby wildfire. Alberta Wildfire says the fire is about 12 kilometers east of Martin Beach and 20 kilometers north of Slave Lake. As of this morning, crews managed to complete a containment line around the 22-hectare-sized fire.
And so now the next step is we'll to have crews come in and reinforce that containment line by working the hot spots that are on the edges. And what we do is we try to work into 100 meters away from there to ensure that, or to minimize the chance of that fire, getting up to the edge again, and then, given the right conditions, perhaps jumping that line and growing again.
Across the province, there are 62 wildfires burning, 16 are out of control. Prairie provinces are partnering together. Saskatchewan is joining Alberta in its plan with Ontario to potentially build new energy and trade infrastructure. Premier Danielle Smith says the agreement could see the 3 provinces push energy exports all over the world. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
When it comes to advancing these goals, it's undeniable that there is strength in numbers.
An agreement signed Tuesday morning that Premier Danielle Smith says will open up exports between Alberta and Ontario and now Saskatchewan. The provincial governments will explore potential new pipelines and rail routes between provinces. The premiers announced the agreement the same day they're meeting with the Prime Minister. The agreement does not include the feds, but that could change.
We cannot achieve our shared provincial goals without cooperation from the federal government. Alberta knows this, Saskatchewan knows this, Ontario knows this, and it's time for the federal government to acknowledge it as well.
It is us coming together as provinces, and we would very much hope to work alongside the Prime Minister Carney and his government in changing that.
We need the federal government to fix its broken regulatory environment and streamline approvals.
In a statement to CTV News, the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers says in part that this agreement is a significant step forward in uniting Canada behind a shared vision to bring Canada's energy and resources to new markets. One political analyst says that most can agree interprovincial trade is good. Pipelines are another matter.
It's one thing to say we should increase trade across provinces. It's another thing to say we should build pipelines.
We have a lot positive to do in this country, building this country in a way, building one Canadian economy.
In meetings Tuesday afternoon, Prime Minister Mark Carney says trade talks with the United States are ongoing. He also says premiers have to do what they can to close interprovincial trade barriers.
All the premiers are looking for ways that we can support each other. You're seeing lots of MOUs being drafted and written up. We've got a few things we still need to work through, but I think we're all moving in the right direction.
Smith says this agreement follows Carney's instructions to diversify markets and support fellow provinces. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the long list of names on his by-election ballot is a blatant abuse of democracy. More than 100 candidates sponsored by the Longest Ballot Committee are registered to run against Poilievre in the Battle River Crowfoot by-election. Poilievre is seeking a seat in the House of Commons after losing his riding of Carleton in the spring election. The Longest Ballot group also targeted that riding and has flooded other ballots in the past as a way to protest election rules. In a letter to the government House leader, Poilievre asks the Liberals to pass a law requiring a candidate to get signatures from 0.5% of a riding's population, not just 100 signatures. The Conservatives also want each signature to be exclusive to one candidate and for riding agents to represent one person at a time. An Edmonton police officer has been cleared of wrongdoing after he punched a man multiple times during an arrest 2 years ago. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team released its report into the altercation in February 2023 today. Video from an apartment building's parking area was used to piece together what happened. ASERT says 7 punches were thrown by the officer in a reasonable action of self-defense after the man attempted to punch the officer first. At the time, Edmonton police said officers were attempting to arrest an 18-year-old for driving erratically. His charges of obstructing and assaulting an officer were withdrawn in 2024. As Alberta approaches 1,500 total measles cases, the Alberta Medical Association is urging Albertans to protect themselves. They're also calling on the provincial government to do more. CTV's Merrick DeCash has the details.
In some zones right now, basically existing in the zone is considered essentially an exposure.
A group of doctors coming together to express frustration. The provincial government will not declare measles an epidemic in Alberta.
When Alberta's 1,400 cases are larger than the number for the entire United States, and we have 12 times the number of active cases as Texas does per capita, there's no doubt that this is an epidemic.
The latest update saw 18 new cases across the province, bringing the total number since March to 1,472. More than 400 of those in kids under the age of 5.
There's this misconception that measles is a routine illness, a routine childhood illness, and it's not. It's high contagiousness and relatively high rate of complications and hospitalizations make it unique.
This panel, put together by the Alberta Medical Association, is urging Albertans at risk to get immunized.
Getting the vaccine is the best way to protect against getting measles. The measles vaccine is safe and it's effective.
Dr. Lenora Saxinger says kids and pregnant women are most at risk.
Anyone who's at risk should make sure that their inner circle is up to date on their vaccines and have had 2 doses, because that can actually provide protection as well if the people that you most commonly associated with are protected.
The province says suggestions to declare a province-wide outbreak or epidemic do not reflect the current data, as the vast majority of cases remain concentrated outside of Edmonton and Calgary. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
As Canada Post workers vote on the latest contract offer, the head of the union here in Alberta says it doesn't include a lot of new concessions. The Edmonton local representative represents nearly 3,000 unionized postal workers in Alberta. Members have until August 1st to vote on the offer. Local President James Ball says the newest contract is the same offer as the one given to them 2 years ago. It includes wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years. It also adds part-time workers Canada Post has said are necessary to keep the postal service alive.
I predict that we're going to lose all sorts of full-time jobs based off of the changes they want in the short term. In the long term, it's basically going to turn our jobs to gig work.
Workers went on strike last November for about a month until they were ordered back to work. Ball says the goal is to avoid a strike this time around. A Canada Post spokesperson said the Crown Corporation had operating losses amounting to $10 million a day through June. Fans are paying tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. The legendary singer died this morning. Known as the godfather of metal, Osbourne inspired a generation of musicians and music fans. CTV's Nair Manisa has local reaction.
Earlier this month, Ozzy Osbourne performed with Black Sabbath for a big reunion show. It would be their last. Ozzy Osbourne died Tuesday morning. Nicknamed the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne had major hits spanning decades with both Black Sabbath and as a solo artist. His death is being felt all across the music world.
The Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, dead at the age of 76.
Jess Jackson with 100.3 The Bear says she was emotional when breaking the news to their listeners.
You know, you ask any heavy metal band or hard rock band now who inspired them, they're going to say Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath.
Osbourne played in Edmonton a handful of times.
I got to see him back at Rexall Place, and that will forever be, you know, one of my most treasured memories. And I think a lot of people that traveled from near and far to see him were lucky enough to see him in Edmonton.
Superfan Travis Cura says Ozzy made him a metal fan. He says his parents wouldn't let him listen to the music, so he had to sneak around.
As soon as I turned 18, one of the first things I did when I graduated high school was travel to Seattle to go to Ozfest. And that was my very first Ozzy live experience. And it's something that I'll never forget.
The Starlight Room has hosted hundreds of metal shows, including several Sabbath tribute bands.
It's just one of those staple bands that's always going to exist. We'll probably have a tribute. We'll probably be playing some music loud even tonight. I mean, it's Black Sabbath legacy, and Ozzy's legacy will continue on forever.
Ozzy's family issued a statement saying he died with his family by his side. He was 76 years old. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
A man who's trying to break a world record while raising money for charity continues to make the rounds.
It was like sleeping on the edge of a really rocky cliff. I'll be honest with you. I didn't get much sleep.
Chris Sheets has been riding this Ferris wheel at K-Days since yesterday morning. He tried to get some sleep while the ride stopped at 11 last night, but the city noise and sirens kept him up. His goal is to keep riding for a total of 54 hours. So far, Sheets says he's raised more than $36,000 for Alberta Dreams. The foundation helps fulfill the wishes of sick kids.
The children we're trying to help, their lives are uncomfortable every day of the year. So if I can make a difference in their lives and have a little fun along the way, I'm not kidding you, this is a little fun for me. And my riders, I mean, they love it too. It's all worth it.
Sheets says he won't leave the Ferris wheel for good until Wednesday evening at 5. He's estimating he'll round the Ferris wheel 1,300 times over the 54 hours. Coming up next, relentless rain in parts of the province, putting a damper on summer fun. Also just ahead, bringing the ballet to the Badlands for one-of-a-kind show, how the dancers will deal with the differences.
So this is definitely a factor that we are not used to, but something that I think excites us a lot.
but we started to clear out today, and we'll see more clearing. We'll get to a nice mix of sun and cloud for Wednesday. Still some unsettled days in the forecast, though. Possible thunderstorms. We'll talk about when coming up.
Heavy rain shut down a major thoroughfare in Calgary this morning. While the rain may be good for the trees and grass, many Calgarians are feeling fatigued by the weather. CTV's Alicia Fieldberg reports.
Relentless rain turning parks into ponds and shutting down roads aren't the summery scenes many Calgarians hope for.
A little bit depressed because the weather's no sun.
I prefer a summery summer, a sunny summer.
It's not a summer at all. I wish it will be warm.
Overnight rain caused flooding, closing a southwest section of Stony Trail during the morning rush. The city of Calgary says the storm also broke pavement along Glenmore near Crowchild, and crews had to block off the area for hours after several vehicles got damaged in the rain-filled rut.
The cost would at least be $1,800, if not more. This would involve a tire change, a wheel change, and a wheel alignment.
The rain is putting a damper on outdoor sports as well.
3,000 kids had their final play day canceled due to a massive storm that rolled in at the end of June. So it's been a season-long problem.
Calgary Minor Soccer Association has had to reschedule roughly 400 games, about 10% of the season. With the season closing soon, some of those makeup games won't happen after a record year of weather-related impacts.
Last year we had 220 games that had to be rescheduled, and the majority of those were due to smoke, if you remember last year. This year it's double, and it's all down to rain predominantly.
And puddles don't inspire paddles either. A hot May and early June helped lazy day raft rentals at the start of the season.
Up until July 1st, we were on target for setting a record year. However, since July 1st hit, the rain started to come, and we're down about 30% year over year, July 1st to now.
Rain shut down the business 11 days this season, which is tough for employees and company profits. But some see a silver lining in the storm clouds.
Well, the last few years has been really dry, so I think the water and for the Bow watershed is absolutely important. The rain is bad for business, but overall for the community, the river is important and the rain is great.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
A Canadian team passionate about hail and the storms that produce them are teaching Albertans about severe weather. The Northern Hail Project hosted a free event at the TELUS Spark Science Centre in Calgary today. Participants got to learn about atmospheric science and conducting field research. Hail recovery equipment and 3D printed models of recovered hailstones were also on display. The group has been focusing much of its work in the Calgary area lately, as it's prone to severe hail events.
The hailstorm we had last week, we were in the city for 3 days doing a post-storm assessment and forensic damage survey. Fortunately, it was much less intense than 2024, but still, you know, the people who are affected, it's hard for them to see it that way, right?
The group is also looking to recruit more hail reporters to help with data gathering. Ballet dancers south of Edmonton are keeping a close eye on the weather forecast. Alberta ballet performers are preparing for a one-night-only showcase of Don Quixote Act 3. While they're not rehearsing, or rather while they're rehearsing inside, they'll be dancing outside this Friday at the Badlands Amphitheatre in Drumheller.
We normally don't perform outdoors. We perform in very controlled settings. So this is definitely a factor that we are not used to, but something that I think excites us a lot.
The amphitheater has enough seating for 2,500 people. Tickets for ballet in the Badlands are available online or day of at the venue's gate. The Toronto Raptors will kick off their preseason in our province. Canada's only NBA team will hold training camp from September 30th to October 3rd at the University of Calgary. The majority of the sessions will be closed to the public. However, the team will have an open practice on the last day. Raptors came to Edmonton in 2022 for a preseason game. The Raps will play a preseason game on October 6th in Vancouver against the Denver Nuggets. Still ahead, a behind-the-scenes look at the work that goes into restoring public art.
We cover on top of that to bring it close to what was the original one.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Well, the clouds slowly broke today, and with that, it really did impede our warming, but we did make it up to 18 degrees once we got into the later part of the afternoon and saw more sun coming through. Average seasonal high is 24. We'll be closer to that tomorrow. Record value, 35. Last year on this day, we were at 34. Let's take a look at the futurecast. We'll see a lot of clearing as we go throughout the early morning hours, and with that clearing from Rocky to areas west of Drayton Valley, we will see temperatures dip down, getting closer to the freezing mark. So there's a risk of frost. For us, our temperature will start off around 7 degrees in the morning, and then as we go throughout the day, we'll see a mix of sun and cloud with a slight chance of scattered showers late afternoon. As I said, risk of frost south of Edmonton, west of Drayton Valley. Rocky is included in this, Olds as well as Airdrie. Temperatures close to the freezing mark. You may want to cover up vulnerable plants as we go throughout the overnight period. Just be careful, especially with some new garden plants coming up. 6 for tomorrow morning here in Edmonton. In the areas to the north of us, a couple degrees warmer, but Red Deer 4, Banff 4, some chilly starts in the morning. As we take a look at the afternoon forecast, the warm temperatures will be in the north, high level 25, Fort McMurray 24. In the south, a bit of a recovery from yesterday. Calgary 23, Lethbridge 24. So finally seeing that warm air push further south. As we take a look at our forecast, overnight about 12 degrees, 7 to start in the morning, fairly clear. With that, there's a chance that we could start off with some fog in our region. So just be mindful of that in the morning. 23 for a high, slight chance of afternoon showers. As I mentioned earlier on, a little bit unsettled for some days in the forecast. That's the case for Thursday. A 60% chance we could see some thunderstorms as we get into the later part of the afternoon. 26 for a high. 23 Friday, there's the weekend. 20 and 23, slight chance of showers on Saturday. Next week, we end off July and we head into August, and we do so with some heat. Tuesday to Wednesday and Thursday, high 20s and then 30s. And then as we get into August 1st, it looks like we'll see temperatures just below average seasonal high with a chance of showers. But again, for tomorrow, could see some fog in the morning, a mix of sun and cloud, and a high of 23.
Borden Natural Pool opened today for the first time this season after being delayed twice. It was originally supposed to open in June until a small leak was found in one of the basins that helps with pool filtration. As a natural pool, no chemicals are used to clean the water. Art installations can help make public spaces more vibrant, but what happens when those pieces show signs of wear and tear or vandalism? CTV's Manisa has more on the work being done behind the scenes to prolong the life of public art.
It was removed from display about a month ago, and we'll be going back within the next month or two.
A handful of public art pieces in Edmonton are waiting to be repaired.
This piece was installed about 12 years ago in Belgravia Park, and it was bright and colorful at that time, but because it was exposed, it had southern exposure to the sun, full exposure actually, it faded quite quickly.
The Edmonton Arts Council takes care of our city's public art. If the work can't be done on site, it's brought to the warehouse. They work on the piece with the original artist if possible. If that's not an option, they turn to a helping hand.
So the thing is that I didn't want to use my own hand, but the thing is that I'm not a sculptor.
Mitra Saidi is a public art conservator. Her role is to assess the situation, develop a restoration plan, and carry out the work. Sometimes she has to get creative. The statue was missing its arm. She used a cast of her own arm and hand for its base.
We cover on top of that to bring it close to what was the original one.
She's working on a vision of hope, which needs a lot of repairs.
This hand is like this. And we had one of the pieces at the side that we could find it. And it will be placed here.
The outdoor pieces see a lot of wear and tear due to the weather, human touch, or vandalism. Sometimes they need new body parts. Others just need the exterior refinished.
We'll be doing some what we call a hot wax treatment on it, where we clean it, hit it with a torch and some wax, and that will protect the patina.
The goal is to get the statues back in their original locations as soon as possible, so it can stand or sit proudly in its true home. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
That is some pretty creative problem solving, and that's all the time that we have tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night.